Hey, welcome to the pod. I'm going to tell you how to start your own podcast. If you want to do that, you will have the know-how here. I'm also painting a picture and I am a little bit high as well. So I'll just give you a quick life update. This week has been insane. It feels like a total level up has happened across the board. Haley and I were talking about it, it's so hard to explain, but this energy, it's like a surge of incredible energy, incredible gratitude, and like that constant flutter that you can feel when you're kind of getting a taste for your, like a future version of yourself who's already like achieving and doing all the things. And so that's just been an incredible vibe, and we've done some things, gotten out of our comfort zones, and Haley was on the podcast, and she's never done anything like this before, and I've only ever interviewed Serena so far, so it was really cool to interview someone else, just to different vibes, different energies, just expanding, I guess. And so that was really exciting. And then the podcast that I did with Haley was so inspiring, and we got a lot of messages from people just being like, holy fuck, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I had the same thing with episode 12, the one about getting your shit together, just so much good feedback. And that one came through for me on Sunday to do for you. So this whole week has just been insane. So it's Saturday now. So in that space of time, I've recorded and put out 3 podcasts. This will be the 4th. And yesterday I got my friend Billy on because he just listen to the episode. It's insane. He is such an amazing creative and has an amazing creative brain, and it all just lined up so perfectly that I was able to record with him yesterday. And all of this just feels so divinely timed, and it's coincided with this insane energy of just holy fuck, a level up is here. It's upon me, and I'm just grabbing it by the balls and going forth and just speaking my truth more and more, unboxing myself and just being myself and being so authentic more and more. And it's feeling insane. I'm so happy. I feel like I'm already in the place where this podcast is super successful. I'm running around doing speaking events, holding, community events, and just lifting up so many people with me and using this platform to get other people's voices out there. My platform is your platform kind of thing. Traveling with this, just helping people in as many ways that I can that feel good and feel right. And, living in a bit more financial comfort would be cool. My car, oh my God, guys, my car broke down today. I literally forgot. And I wasn't even off it. I literally, I was talking to Haley, I was voice messaging her when it was happening because, I don't know, it was just the first place I went. I hadn't called Lubmobile yet. I called Haley. I knew she'd get the vibe. I was just this is so funny. I was in the Macca's drive-thru, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'll just tell you the story. So I'm about to go to Officeworks, and I had to go get some groceries, but I hadn't done that yet. And I was I'm so hungry and I really need coffee, and I can't even go into the shops and think with my brain right now. I need to eat some food. And I, hang on, I'm just putting my paintbrush in the paint and then got distracted. So anyway, I went to Macca's and driving through the drive-thru, and my car just stops, and it was a busy period, and all these other people are in the drive-thru, and I was oh my God, I'm so sorry. Wow, I'm being really inconvenient right now. And then this really nice guy jumps out, and he's hang on, I'll just push you here out of the way, and tried to leave me in the drive-thru. I'm sir, do you mind? I appreciate the help you're giving me, but instead of shoving me into the corner here of the tiny little drive-through thing, could we just get me out? And he's no, we'll just put you in down here at the waiting bay, the Macca's waiting bay. And I was can we just keep going just a little bit? I was please just get me out of this drive-through area and just roll me off into the car park, and I'll just use the momentum from there. And then as I was asking him to do that, this other guy gets out and some other guy gets out, and anyway, they all did exactly that. They rolled me out. And then I ended up in the 7-Eleven car park, but parking someone in kind of thing. It's just where my car eventually stopped. Otherwise I was going to drive literally into 7-Eleven. So I obviously couldn't do that. So anyway, I stopped my car there. Everyone's okay, bye. Because their cars are all in the drive-thru. So they had to go. They were fucking peace. And so I'm standing outside my car in front of this 7-Eleven, at the back of this 7-Eleven. And I was what am I going to do? And I was well, I ordered Macca's, didn't get to pay for it, didn't even get to eat it. And I was I can't do anything until I eat some food. So I just put my hazards on, went inside, paid for my Maccas, got my Maccas. And as I was walking back to my car, it just started pissing down with rain. Can you even believe it? I was like, what is going on right now? Anyway, so then I got into my car, just waited that out. And that's when I was like voice messaging Haley. And she was just like, bro, what the fuck? Your perspective on this right now is insane. She's like, how do you sound so happy? And I was like, well, I just feel like this is happening for a reason. I'm just not aware of the reason yet. I'll be aware of the reason eventually. And then I'll probably be grateful that this happened. So why be upset about it now? You know what I mean? And she was like, you're fucked up. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then, so anyway, back to what I was originally saying in the first place was like, it'd be nice to have a bit more financial comfort. Absolutely. But I feel like I'm living in this like incredible vibration where it's just this whole other feeling I haven't ever experienced before. And it's insane. It's fucking insane up here. Come join me. It took a lot of deep mental work to get here, but it was so worth it. So worth it. Anyway, why was I here again? Why am I even talking to you? Oh yeah. Podcasts. How to make a podcast. Yeah, cool. So I feel like, oh my God, I have some shit to say. Like, I just feel like everyone needs to speak their truth more. Everyone wants to use their voice more. So this is like the perfect way to do it. It's so therapeutic. It's not even funny. And I think get your motives clear on your podcast. Like, what's it for? Who's it for? Are you going to be all like upset if no one listens to it for the first like 6 months or whatever? Or are you going to be like, that doesn't matter because this is something I want to do and I'm doing it for me as a way, like a creative expression to let myself out, to let myself step foot on my path and see if I can achieve whatever mission it is that's inside me. Like, if you're doing it for those kind of reasons, like, you're never going to be upset about the views and you will see any view as a win because it's like, sweet, the right person found this in this moment. You know what I mean? Or if you're like, I don't care if anyone ever fucking hears it or sees it or whatever, and you just want to do it because it feels good, great, that's amazing, like, fuck yes. And if you're like, I want to podcast because I know that it's going to help me do the thing that I want to do in my life, and I know it's going to help me get towards the goal that I have or whatever, amazing. Like, I just can't see a downside of doing this. Obviously, there would be downsides of everything. I don't actually want you to fucking think of downsides of it. Fuck off. Anyway, keep your heads in the clouds, guys, in a good way. So what was I saying? Yes, I think there are many beautiful reasons why someone might want a podcast, and they're all valid and incredible. So you should totally do it. And just, like, keep those values of why you're wanting to do it in the first place in the forefront of your mind, because when you, and maybe even like journal them down, because when you do something like this, you're putting yourself so far out of your comfort zone that the fear side of your ego can kind of come in and be like, hey, like, you're actually a piece of shit. And then you're like, oh, that's right, I am. I'm not going to do this. And it's like, no, you don't want to listen to it. Like, you don't want to listen to that part of you if that does come up. Hopefully it doesn't, but I feel like it would for a lot of people. And if you kind of revert back to what you wrote about your values and your morals and why you want to create this podcast in the first place, it will help you stay grounded. It'll help you stay on course and not give up just because like of some fear or an internal like shitty conversation that you've had with yourself. You know what I mean? Okay, so what do you need? Okay, you need a computer or a laptop or whatever. You need a microphone. I'll tell you the one I got. You need, you don't need a pair of headphones if you're just recording by yourself. Like, I'm not wearing headphones right now. The risk is that I can't hear myself. So if there's some random fucking thing wrong with the cord and there's like a hum or something like that, I don't know about it. But if you have headphones in, you can hear that shit. So it is like a safety thing as well. Like, you won't have to like re-record or whatever, because you'll be able to hear on the spot if something's fucking going wrong. And that has happened in the past. So it's worth it to wear them. I just feel like more free. There's less cords hanging off me when I'm not wearing them. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to risk it for the biscuit. It just feels better. I want to do everything that feels good, including this. It's like what Billy was saying in the yesterday's episode of the podcast about how, like, do whatever it is that makes you feel really comfortable. Like, put your body in a position of complete comfort before you get into flow state, because then you're going to want to stay in it. You won't be kind of mentally drawn out of it or anything. You don't get, more mentally fatigued kind of trying to get in and out of flow. Anyway, so comfort is a key. if you're going to be recording with people and interviewing people, and over Zoom especially, you need headphones, and so does the other person. So if you're going to like interview someone, tell them to get their hands on some headphones, because if you've both just got like the sound coming out of your laptop speakers of the other person, that sound is going to go then into your microphone, and it will have like an echo. That's just not super pleasant for people to listen to. Like I'm always, because I've got such a makeshift situation right now because I've only just started this. Like this podcast is 4 weeks old. I've just done heaps of episodes in that time. So I would always prefer to just begin rather than overthinking it and getting scared and just being like, oh, I need too many things and blah, blah, blah. Like I'm just like, what's the basic bare minimum I've got? Can I just begin with this? Yes, awesome. Like let's do it. So this is the kind of stuff, the info that I'm giving you up until this point, and in maybe like a year or two, I'll do another one of these episodes where I can tell you way more about it because I'll have had way more experience. And if your podcast is growing at the same kind of rate as mine, I can turn around and give that information to you at like a useful time. Like once I know what the next things are that I need, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? What was I saying? Apart from that, where were we? Yeah, people need headphones, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then what else do I use? I do want to get a little camera to stick into my laptop because the laptop camera itself is pretty shit. So what I do is I record on my iPhone. I hit record on the laptop and then I hit record on my iPhone at the same time. So the audio and there is a video going through my laptop. That's like the basic, like what you hear. But then I lay the iPhone footage on top of the laptop footage and sync it with the audio. So that's just better quality audio, and I can also get like a better angle because the laptop's like currently below me looking straight up my chin and it's cutting my head off and it's mostly seeing the easel, whereas my phone is on the other side of the room shooting me from the side angle. So it just gives a different perspective to where you are if you're not in like a conveniently placed position or whatever to your laptop. So I've got like one of those iPhone tripods for that. I find that really helpful. And I think that's really it. So the gear specifically, the microphone is an AudioTechnica USB mic. So it uses a USB-C cord on both ends and it just plugs into the bottom of the microphone and into my laptop. And I got this from JB HiFi, by the way. And I also got a boom arm. It was like an influencer kit or something, not the microphone, but the boom arm and pop filter. And it was like $30 from JB as well. So fucking so doable, right? Like insane. Anyone can do this. And then it came with like all the cords and everything that I needed. So then on the computer, on my laptop, I have this program called Riverside. Riverside will record your conversation with yourself, or it'll also record like you can call someone on here kind of like Zoom, but you send them a link and they open the link and you're both suddenly in the same studio together. And if you're just like recording a podcast of a Zoom conversation that you're having with someone, it will give you the full-on video and audio of that whole situation. And then, you know, once that person leaves, like you can create a new link for a different person for a different episode or whatever you want to do. And then when I'm just recording by myself, it's got just the one screen open, just recording video and audio of me. And you have the ability to label the episodes and everything when you're in them so you don't get confused. It keeps all of them. You can edit in the app as well, so you don't have to take this out of Riverside ever if you don't want to. You wouldn't be able to do that phone overlay here, not yet, in case, like, you know, they might develop the software to be able to do video overlays. That would be amazing. But currently you can add in your intro, your outro. You can add in your own logo, like your own captions and everything. It will do, it's got this like program inside it with this AI ability to snip the highlights out of your podcast and put them down to iPhone crop sizes and does captions and everything. Like, it's insane. And you can fully cut bits out if you want. You can full on edit in here in a basic way. And then you can even, I think you can download it. I've never sent it to Spotify from here, so I don't actually know the next step. But I'm pretty sure you can like send it off straight from Riverside to your like platform wherever you're hosting your podcast. I don't know though, not sure because I don't do that. But I use Riverside, and what I do is I'll record here and then I'll export it. And then I put that Riverside into Adobe Premiere Pro because I was a videographer for ages. So I have all these video editing tools and knowledge, but I think this is something that anyone can learn to do as well. And if you don't want to use Premiere Pro, you could probably use fucking DaVinci even. I don't know. I've never used DaVinci. I assume it's similar. And you could, I mean, really, I think you could totally do this in Canva. I don't know how easy it would be. I feel like Canva would actually maybe be a little bit more inconvenient than just learning how to quickly do this in Premiere Pro. Let me know if you're like, oh, Esther, can you just like screen record a video and put it on your website of how to do this? Because then I will totally do that for you, but please let me know. So what I do is I will download this from Riverside. I put that into Premiere Pro, and then I click on the file and I click on the tab Essential Sound. And then in there is this preset podcast voice. So if I don't use the preset called podcast voice, it doesn't really sound very different. Like I've got a nice microphone, nothing sounds shit. I'm in a quiet room, like all that. But it just does like a little bit of audio balancing, like auto. And I don't know, I just prefer the sound. I tried it one day and I tried it without and I liked it better. So I love that. And then I grabbed my iPhone footage that I've just sent via fucking AirDrop to my computer. Then I take that and I put it into the Premiere Pro and I put it on top of the Riverside one so I can sync the audio and I line it up, and I'm pretty quick at that now. When you're learning to do that, it's a little bit frustrating, but honestly, after like 2 or 3, you'd be like, sweet, I can do this. So, yeah, video on top. And then I've already pre-made an intro, outro sound. So basically I went on, what's the program called? Envato Elements, Envato. I'll try and remember to put this in the show notes. Envato Elements. I went on there, paid for a subscription, found some songs that I liked and some sound effects and everything, and downloaded them. And there was this one song that just had a lot of drum beats and I really liked it. So I just grabbed like a fucking 5-second snippet of that song and then just put a little fade out at the end. And this is in like a separate Premiere profile. I grabbed that little song, cut it down to the snippet that I liked, and then a graphic that I'd made in Canva of like saying Esther's Universe, blah, blah, blah. I have that. I laid that on top of the sound in Premiere Pro and I just exported that. And that is now just what I drag and drop in either side of each episode before I finish editing and exporting them in Premiere Pro. So yeah, back to the original like actual podcast editing. I'll drop in the intro, outro, then I'll also I just cut off the beginning and the end of the podcast where I'm just like there pressing the button and, you know, maybe clearing my throat or having a drink of water or whatever before I begin, because I hit record and then I just like faff about until I'm in the right mood and energy, and then I just start speaking all of a sudden. So like I cut off that stuff because y'all don't need that. And then what else do I do? I think that's it. So after that, I've exported it. I kind of put when I export it, it's on, I try and make the resolution just a bit lower because obviously you don't want your Spotify fucking having to load fucking a million gig of someone's data every time they listen to it. Like it's just nice for their data if you're not rubbing it like that. So make your video a bit smaller for people. And then I use, so my platform is Spotify for podcasters. That's where I've like made my main account. So basically what happens is you pick like a platform to host your podcast on, and then all these other internet platforms that you can listen to podcasts on will kind of essentially rent your podcast from that main one. So you don't have to upload it all over town every episode. You don't have to upload it across all of them. Like, fuck that. They give you this thing called this RSS feed. I don't know anything about it. It's magic. I have no fucking clue. But it's like this link that you activate in where you host the original podcast in Spotify for podcasters. And then you take that RSS feed link and then you plop it into like Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and Amazon and Google Podcasts and all these other places. And that's all you need to do. Just link it. And then next thing you know, every time you upload a podcast episode to Spotify for podcasters, it will then just trickle out to the other ones without you having to do anything. So that's good because who's got the time? Now, what else do I do once it's on there? Yeah, you just have to like write a little quick description. I don't overthink it. I just like to write whatever comes to the top of my head. I think about clickbait when I'm thinking the title names. I'm obviously not lying. Like, I'm not like, it's not literal clickbait where I'm just like saying some ridiculous shit that's completely irrelevant to the podcast. I mean, I intend on doing that. Maybe I will do that one day. I don't fucking know. See how it goes. But yeah, I have like the idea of clickbait in my mind. I'm like, what's the most gripping part of this episode? What is the part that would make me stop my scroll through the list of podcasts to choose this one? What best describes this podcast for someone who would be looking for something like this? Like maybe there's someone in the world who is like, oh, I'm just like really dying to learn how to podcast, but I don't know how because there's just so much information on these blogs and it's like fucking way over my head and I don't get it and everyone's over explaining it and blah, 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 blah. It's oversaturated already and blah, blah, blah. You've already got these like fucking hang-ups about not wanting to do it and then it's too difficult and you just don't do it. So anyway, I just want this to be like really succinct. Why was I saying that? I completely forgot. I went off on a rant and then don't know why I was telling you that exact thing. Anyway, if you know why and that just made sense, awesome. Oh my God, it's so insane inside my head. Like not literally, it's just wild. I have to be so myself and so okay with myself because I would be very kind of closed off as a person if I wasn't, because of how often I just forget things mid-sentence. Like I could be in a fucking job interview and that would happen, eh? So if I was to like be really judgmental of myself and try and hide myself away from people just because that's a bit weird, I would be so sad. And what a waste of a human. So I try to just be myself as much as I can in all of the ways and be honest, and I'm not going to edit that out, that kind of thing, because then hopefully that will inspire you to exist in the world in the way that is you and that is right for you. That's what the most important thing is, being yourself, because you're special and unique and the world needs more people to unabashedly be themselves quite desperately. So if you feel brave enough and up to that task, yay. Jump on board, my friend. Anyway, so podcasts. What else do I do? Put it on Spotify for podcasters. Oh, and then I created a YouTube account. And every time I upload, oh, that's right, I was talking about the fucking descriptions. Don't overthink the descriptions, but just choose something that makes sense, that will actually draw the right person in who can see the title. Lol, we got there. Okay, cool. And then I always put in the show notes, if I can, I try to remember to put the details of whatever it was that I was talking about, or if I mention someone, I'll put a link to their business. So if you've ever heard one of my podcasts and you're like, oh, who was that person she was talking about? I'll always link them if I remember to. And then what I've done is gone into YouTube, made a YouTube account, and I upload the podcast to YouTube and just go back into my Spotify episodes and I copy and paste the information, the title, the description, like all that shit into YouTube, just so I don't have to like retype it or anything. And then I hit upload there. And then I've also I built myself a website. I use Wix. It's just so easy. I don't like Squarespace. I've tried it. Not a fan. It's fucking weird. I don't get it. Wix is so easy. And if you're just trying to do some lighthearted shit that doesn't really require you to sell heaps of stuff, or I don't know, if you just want a platform to launch from, Wix is fucking great. And you can even put like on mine, I have like a whole YouTube screen open with like a YouTube video of my podcast and links to the podcast. I've got like a video as well of just like me on the homepage walking and laughing, like it was an outtake from a shoot I was doing. And it has just heaps of myself in it, like very bold but earthy kind of tones. And it's just very, very me. I'm not trying to look like any other podcast. I'm not trying to be too different. I'm just being me. Like whatever felt right is what I did. And everyone's obsessed. Everyone who sees my website is like, oh my God, I fucking love it. I don't know why, but I fucking love it. And I'm like, what you love is the fact that I'm being myself. That's what's inspiring. So do that, be yourself. And yeah, you put your podcast on there soon. So my friend Billy was saying that he's going to help me with this, not help me, but like show me this program that can transcribe the YouTube videos into text. So then I'll actually put them in as blogs as well on the website. So the most places that you can put this, the better. The more places, the better. It'll help with your Google SEO in time. So Google will sort of be churning away in the background, and you'll have, lots of links. You can get like a link tree and put that on your Instagram bio and your TikTok and stuff like that. And the link tree, sorry, I've got a fucking incense like blowing up my fucking nose. Oh, I just put a patch of white on my painting. Damn it. Hang on a second. Okay, that's better. This painting's so fucking pretty. I can't stop staring at it. I can't wait to hang it up. If someone sees it and wants to buy it, that's fine. I'll only want it in my life for like, you know, a couple of months. They heal me, my paintings. They're like a healing process. And then I'm like, okay, it's done its thing. Bye. But I don't sell them yet. My poppy bought one once. That was nice. Anyway. What was I talking about? Yeah, SEO. Your link tree. So make a link tree. Put your podcast, like Spotify link there. Put a link to your website there. Put your Instagram link there, your TikTok link there, and then just put that in all of your bios everywhere you go. And then basically if you want to market your podcast, I would say get on TikTok as soon as you can. TikTok's like, if you're not on it, it's basically like more of a free version, as in like be yourself kind of free than other kinds of social media, in the sense that like Instagram's very much like really curated, very highlight, perfect version of yourself kind of vibe. It's this weird fucking Truman Show bubble and I don't like it. But anyway, we need it. So do we need it? I don't really think we need it, but it is what it is and it's where people are. So we do need to be on it. Blah. But we don't need to live on it. Do you know what I mean? Get Loomly, like auto post. I don't fucking know, but don't get caught in a death trap of just scrolling forever and ever and ever and just losing your soul. Like, it's not worth it. Anyway, so TikTok is great because it will show your video to like 90% new audience every video. So when you're creating videos in TikTok, you're not creating videos for people who follow you and know who you are and message you all the time and all of that. You're creating videos for people who've never fucking seen you before. Every single time you post is an opportunity to meet people and show them who you are and what you're fucking capable of. And they don't want to see the polished version of you. That's like so cringe on TikTok. They want to see who you are. Like, I don't give a fuck if you've got bags under your eyes and double chins. Like, put it up. You know what I mean? Stop caring and judging yourself. So yeah, put your TikToks up. If your link in bio is up there, people will be able to find your videos, and then chances are they'll go to your podcast first, right? And be like, wow, or your Instagram, depending on the person. They'll go to your podcast and they'll be like, wow, I fucking loved it. So I'm glad I found this person. How do I like stick in their life a little bit more? They'll open your LinkedIn fucking bio again. And I said LinkedIn, your link in bio. And then they'll, you know, see your Instagram and they'll go to your Instagram and that's where they'll follow you. That's where they can kind of, if they need to contact you again, they can DM you, whatever. Like it's more of like a community space, or you could have Facebook or whatever if you want, if you don't want Instagram. So that's just like where they can sort of land and you guys can stay connected with each other. So hopefully like anyone who hears this episode, if you're like, oh, I really like this, you can find my Instagram in my link tree in my bio on any of the platforms, and you can then, I don't know, fucking take the journey yourself. See how I've got it set up. Suss out my funnel for yourself by just doing it, and then you'll get a sense of it all. What else? Hashtags are important. I think a lot of people get really confused about hashtags, just like hashtagging fucking anything that, I don't know, seems like a relevant keyword to them. But what you want to do is not confuse the algorithm of the, like, so let's just say I've made a post from a snippet of a podcast of like something that's very self-developmenty, where you can kind of like hear me talking about to the 10 steps to help yourself fucking change your life or whatever. And instead of just having hashtags like self-development, manifestation, abundance, whatever, like those are like to the TikTok algorithm, that's like 4 separate topics. So if you get really specific and just be like, all right, this is about self-development as a whole, maybe my hashtags would be self-development, self-help, self-development podcast, self-help podcast, I don't know, podcasts of TikTok, something like that. And so TikTok's like, all right, this is a self-development / self-help podcast. Like, so easy for it to understand. And then the more clear you get on your hashtags, the more TikTok's SEO knows what to do, and the algorithm knows what to do with your videos and who to show them to and everything. And then there's this other little trick with TikTok. When you're looking at your own videos, if you open up your videos, there's this little search bar up the top. And if it just says like, find more like this or something like that, I can't remember what it is. It means that TikTok doesn't actually know really like where to place your video. It's not like you've confused it somewhere with either the content or the hashtags or the caption. Like you've not been really clear and direct with what it is that you're trying to say. And TikTok's like, I don't really know where to put this. And not as many people find it. But if you're pretty clear with all of that stuff, you'll notice up in that little search bar at the top, it'll have one of your hashtags or a similar hashtag, and what it'll say, like maybe hashtag self-help or something like that. And what that means is that within that hashtag specifically, within that topic, your video is trending. Or it's at least clear enough that it's just doing well in there and doing the rounds and everything, and people find it more. You notice on those ones, they always have more views and more comments, more everything. So yeah. Then what else would I say? When you're marketing this stuff, just like if you think about old school marketing, like more of a long form kind of content, ads were, you know, more of a slow build to begin with, and then it would get to the crescendo of what's happening, and you'd be like, oh wow, the ad makes sense now at the end, and it's like I went on a journey to get there, and that used to be satisfying for people to watch. And now, because of like the attention economy and how like we have such short attention spans, and how like because the nature of social media is just like next, our brains are sort of like wired like that as well. So we don't give it the time. Like if it's slow from the outset, the person's like, I don't know what this is about right now, and I'm onto the fucking next thing immediately because I have no time. And it's like, yes you do, bitch. You're just laying in bed fucking scrolling. Like you've got time, but you don't have an attention span because of what social media has done to your brain. So advertising and everything has changed and developed to suit this like really short span of attention that we have. And because everyone's just absolutely doing their best to mine as much of your fucking attention as they can, because they're all trying to like sell you something or whatever, or just like stand out to you, it's just this insane cacophony of just noise of people just being like, hey. And you to stand out in that, or at least like have your video found among that insanity, you need to put like pretty early on, within the first 3 seconds, what that video is about, or have like said something catchy enough that people are going to pay attention. Now that's like if you are wanting to like think critically about it while you're doing it, but really I think go with your gut, just let it out how it comes out. When you're nervous, it's going to be a little bit more like cut those out. Like people don't really want to sit there while you're going so I like do try and shorten those if you want to do well on the internet. But I mean, I wish we lived in a world where everyone had a fucking bigger attention span. So it's just that we don't. So hopefully that like underlying knowledge helps you. And then when you're creating content, like don't overthink it. But if you have that underlying knowledge, you'll at least be able to just, I don't know, create from a place of like slightly more intention. Anyway, that is how to create a podcast and market it in the early days. All yours for free. I don't know why I said that. I just think that like I've seen so many courses on how to do this, and that's fine and everything. Everyone's just trying to make money and get out of the fucking grind, and you know, I get it. Hell yeah, amen, whatever. But I also think that it's really, really important to me anyway. And this is like not to say that charging for this is wrong. Like one day if you want to charge for telling people how to do this, you absolutely can. And whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself into a position where you're able to relax and be calmer and slower and not have to work so hard and like waste your life away, you know, 100%. Just for me specifically in this moment, like I don't have a need to make money off this, and it's more important to me that you guys have the opportunity to speak your truth and get your wisdom out into the world, and, you know, use what you've learned and turn around and give that to other people and, you know, help the world progress. And also just like another little side note, if you're listening to this, like, oh, I want to know how to do it, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm just not ready. Like, I'm just not there yet, blah, blah, blah. Just keep an eye on that thought, because your ego and your fear will tell you that you're not ready forever. Like, it will just keep telling you that. You'll never feel ready. And you like, there's never going to be some end point that you get to where you're like, okay, now I know everything I need to know to then turn around and teach people this stuff. That's not how it goes. If you get to that point, teaching the very basics to someone to really, really help them get over that fucking line, you're so far from, you know, your knowledge then needs to go to the people who are pretty much right next to you, or like 5-10% behind you. Your knowledge at that point, when you know everything you need to know, or when you're an absolute master of the thing that you're doing, you don't want to teach people in the beginning. It's not beneath you, but it's kind of boring for you, just because like you know so much more that they're not ready for yet. Do you know what I mean? And it's not to say that someone beginning something is some poor schmuck who doesn't fucking deserve your time. Absolutely not. Help people wherever you want to help them, whatever you're called to do. But I think for most cases, people just want to end up helping someone who's like almost where they are, And if they don't want to do that and they only want to help people who are in the beginning, like that's fine. But you can really like just trust yourself a lot more. Like you're probably way more in a position to be helping someone who's further along than you realize. And then going for people who are just starting out and like wanting to start teaching people and helping people and, you know, sharing their truth a little bit more. There are people who haven't even fucking had the thought that you've had yet. They have never even experienced the thing that you've experienced yet. They're not even aware of the thing in the world that you've experienced and learned and grown from. Do you know what I mean? So like, even though if you're like, oh, I'm so early days in my self-development process, or I'm so early days in my, you know, spiritual awakening, or I'm so early days in my becoming in, you know, some kind of fucking making the world better influencer or whatever it is that you want to do, I don't care if it's early days, and I don't want you to care either. There's someone who needs to know what it is that you can teach them. You've learned some shit so far, and someone out there is in the perfect position to hear it. They're ready for it. And if you don't give them that information, you're just going to like hoard that and keep it to yourself and then just keep growing and growing and learning and learning. And then finally one day when you get over your own bullshit, you'll be able to teach it to people, but you'll forget all those really early little things. Like you might not forget some key points, but there's actually so much more depth to what you're doing than you think. And you need to give that to the people who are ready to hear it. Like they're right next in line, ready to hear that. Fucking turn around and help people. It's actually what you're meant to do here on earth. And you don't because you think it's already oversaturated. People will judge you. People will find it cringe. You'll judge yourself. It'll be too hard, too many steps to take, too much to do, cost too much money. Like whatever the fucking thing is that's stopping you from doing it, I want you to listen to yourself for a second and be like, is any of that actually true? Or is that a place of fear? Like, is that just my fear talking? Like, has it just tricked me? Like pulled the wool over my eyes all these years? Because probably, hey. Likely, yeah. So hopefully that helped. You can fucking do it. I believe in you. And the other thing that I want to say is that like me helping you in this way and doing whatever I can to share my knowledge with the world, helping you means more to me than making money off it. I need money. Yes, I am still a person in this 3D earth who has to have an income, but I just know that will come. Like I know that will come from things like the podcast or maybe my YouTube takes off. I don't fucking know. I'm not trying there, but who knows? My TikTok went viral. I didn't expect that. So like I know that money will come for me. I'm developing something at the moment and I'm going to sell it for like literally $4.99 and it's going to be worth like fucking thousands. Like I could charge so much for it. It's not even funny. The knowledge in there is fucking insanity. But I'm making it really digestible and I'm only going to sell it for $4.99. And I just hope that heaps of fucking people buy it. And it's just like such valuable content, but I refuse to put the price up on it because it's more important to me that people access it. I need the people to actually upgrade and up level in life. I am here to help you do that. Like I'm literally on earth to help you find whatever it is that's inside yourself and pull it out and use it. You have got such divine, amazing wisdom inside you and I need to help you get the fuck out of yourself and put it out into the world and do what it is that you're called to do. So it's more important to me to help people get to the point where they're even able to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't just like go from being a completely dense human full of trauma and a victim of the world to just suddenly doing that. There are steps that you need to take in between. And most people who have taken those steps have done so intuitively, but a lot of people do struggle with this sort of stuff more than you would realize. So if you feel like you've got something that can teach someone, practice by just teaching them for free on your fucking podcast and then see where that takes you in the world. But yeah, it's important to me to just like actually help you. And who knows, one day maybe I do something where I have to charge like thousands of dollars to do it because I need to fucking whatever. But this is something that's just coming out of my brain. So I'm going to do it for cheap and I'm going to just hope that it takes off. And maybe that is one of the ways that I can just then keep doing this and keep helping you guys. Like it means a lot to me to do that. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my painting because I just went on such a rant and just stood here waving my hand around instead of actually painting for the last maybe 15 minutes. But hopefully that was helpful. And if it was, can you please share this with someone and can you please leave me a review on the podcast? Just like it's literally just hit a 5-star thing. You just hit it with your finger. Just go boop. If you're the passenger in the car of someone listening to this, can you please do that for them? Sorry. And what else? Yeah, show notes. I'll put all the information in the show notes. I'll put like the links to literally everything I use and everything you need to start a podcast. And yeah, there we go. All right. Love you. Bye.